We can discuss this now with Serbian MP Alexanдар Pavиć. Alexander, good to have you on the program with us. Well, Zeleski is seemingly running away from this corruption scandal brewing at home. European officials keep offering Kiev even more money. Why do you think they aren't more concerned about where that money will end up?
Well, I think they are concerned, but what is the alternative? What's their plan B? You know, the thing is, they haven't prepared for this time when the Ukrainian regime is teetering, when the Ukrainian army is on the brink of losing the war. And what can they do? They put in so much. They have such a big stake in Zelensky. It's kind of hard to just kind of wash your hands off, from him. And so they have very little choice. If Zelensky falls, Zelensky knows a lot of secrets. So he's not a convenient witness. Who do they have as Zelensky's replacement? If it's not Zelensky alone who's corrupted, that's for sure. So the entire regime is corrupted. So what is their alternative? Democratic and free elections? Can they risk democratic and free elections in Ukraine? And maybe political parties who are against further war against Russia come into power? So they're stuck with Zelensky for the moment. And I don't think they quite know what to do. And they'd rather even keep throwing money into this black hole than admit they were wrong. Because, that's the end of many, many very important high-profile political careers. So they're probably going to keep giving him more money and try to figure out how to maybe kind of marginalize him without suffering too much political damage at home.
The Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman says that European donors for Ukraine are not only well aware of the money fraud schemes, but they have a hand in them as well. Could that also be the issue, that these corruption schemes spread beyond Ukraine's increasingly shrinking borders?
Absolutely. That's what I meant when I said that Zelensky is a very inconvenient witness. And it goes for not just European lawmakers, but for the previous administration in the U.S. as well. We know the scandal regarding Hunter Biden and his board membership on the gas company Burisma. We know that Biden actually practically blackmailed Ukraine while he was president with the $1 billion in aid. Pressuring them to fire a prosecutor. All that money, all those hundreds of billions of dollars in aid that came to Ukraine, we can be sure that most of it didn't really go down to where it was sent. It went into politicians' pockets, but it also went back as kickbacks to whichever politicians in the West approved these huge loans or this huge aid. So, I think many election campaigns in the U.S. and in Europe were financed with money that was supposedly went to aid Ukraine. So once again, Zelensky knows a lot of this. He knows the truth, and it's very hard to deal with him now because he can threaten to come out and say what the real truth is. So, as a result, he's not the only one who's in danger, but many politicians in the West.
So Zelensky, after visiting Europe, is heading to Turkey. I believe he's there now. It was just last week that the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry officially stated that peace talks have been stopped. So why would he go to Turkey?
Well, Turkey has been involved in the Ukrainian war. They've armed the Ukrainian army. Turkey has played both sides. But I think maybe that Zelensky, I'm just guessing now, but he may be trying to maybe send messages to maybe even the Russian side through Turkey. Maybe he's willing to negotiate. Maybe he's willing to make some concessions that he wasn't ready to make before. Turkey's also in a position of being one of potential middlemen in any future peace talks or peace agreements. So I think that's also a very real possibility.
Meanwhile, Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, was due to meet with the Ukrainian delegation, but now has reportedly refused to talk to them because of this corruption scandal. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think that's totally expected. Why would Witkoff want to be associated with people who are potentially implicated in such a huge corruption scandal? You know, this is not something that Witkoff or this White House is involved in. If the big corruption can be tied to the previous administration, and why would Witkoff risk his reputation by meeting with them? They may be gone tomorrow. And then people might start asking questions about Witkoff himself. So they don't really need that. And we know that the White House is not a fan of Zelensky or his government. It's just that they don't have anyone else to talk to in Ukraine as well. But you know, this is a kind of a red light, and this corruption scandal may also expand. In fact, it's almost certain to expand. I think this is just a drop in the ocean of what's gone out into the public. You know, I'm sure that it's not just 100 million that have been stolen. I'm sure that it's much more than that. And so, you know, Witkoff has no reason to give them any added legitimacy.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Serbian MP Alexander Pavich. Alexander, thank you.
Thank you.